everyone. Hope you're all having a wonderful day today. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different than what I normally do. I had a company, Bear Creek Arsenal, reach out to me and they wanted to send me an upper receiver. So full disclosure, before we get into things, I did not pay for this at all. And so I don't feel bad for doing what I'm about to do to it. So today we're going to be doing a kind of a series called boxed combat load. So combat load is like 6, 7, 8 mags, somewhere in that range. Today we're going to be putting about 250 rounds through it, somewhere in that range. I brought a bunch with me. We're going to be doing a bunch of different drills with it, a bunch of different tests. We're going to be throwing it around. We're going to be submerging it, doing a bunch of different tests, and the upper receiver is as it came from the factory. So basically, a kind gentleman from Bear Creek Arsenal reached out to me and asked if I wanted to review one of their upper receiver groups, and I said, of course, sure. So they let me pick whichever one I wanted. So I went with a 20-inch M16 A2 or A4 style upper receiver. This is their heavy barrel. It's a 5.56 chambering, 1 in 9 twist, which is fine for most loadings you're ever going to throw through it. It's not a big deal. So this is one of their newest designs. It has their carrying handle on it, which is elevation and windage adjustable back here in the back, which is very nice. Rifle length gas system on it. I did take it apart and look at it just to verify that everything was in good order and so that it wasn't going to kill me when I shot it. This is their new bolt carrier design with billet extractors, and it has a new staking method, which I actually kind of like, but we're going to talk about that in a later video, not in this one. So this is exactly as it came from the factory. I have not added lube. I have not done anything to it other than taking it out and looking at it. Now it is not completely dry. They did obviously function test before they sent it out to me. You can definitely tell that it has some wear on the bolt, and you know there's some stuff around there. So it's not dry. There is some lubrication in there already from the factory, so I'm not going to add any of my own. So we're going to go ahead, throw it on a lower receiver, run it through some drills, do a function test with it, zero it, and all that sort of good stuff, and see how it holds up. So this right here is my Palmetto State Armory lower receiver. This is a rifle lower receiver, obviously. This guy here has been through about 6,000-7,000 rounds at this point, and it's never had an issue with me. The one thing that is nice about it is it does have the Palmetto State Armory enhanced polished trigger on it, which is really good. It's a very smooth trigger, so that's going to help a little bit. But we're going to go ahead, see how this guy does. The buffer system that we're running in here is just a standard carbine spring with an H1 buffer. So this should be very, very smooth with the rifle length gas system. But without any further ado, let's go ahead and see how it functions. So we're going to go ahead and do a 5-round test. Then we're going to submerge it, we're going to throw it, then we're going to do another 5-round test to see how it handles that, and then we're going to go ahead and do about 100 rounds of drills with a mag dump in there, another submerge, another throw, and then we're going to do another 100 rounds of drills and a mag dump in there. And then after that, we're going to go ahead and take this guy to another location where I have a 100-yard range set up, and we're going to do some accuracy testing with it with some Hornady Black 75-grain ammunition. We're going to throw on my 4-16, my accuracy testing scope on this guy and see how it performs. Now, the barrel on this guy is extremely, extremely heavy. But that being said, when we do the actual accuracy testing, it's going to be cold because I'm going to have to drive to the other location. So it'll be very cold and very good, hopefully, by the time we get there. So let's go ahead and load it up and see how it goes. Alrighty, so we are about 5-7 yards away, and I just want to check and see if this guy here is on with the iron sight. So with these 5 rounds, we're of course going to be checking it to see that it functions, and we're also going to be kind of zeroing it for this 20-yard range that we have set up. So let's go ahead, a little long. All right. That is dead on. All right. Alrighty, so it's functioning very well. The recoil is obviously incredibly soft. It's, even though there's no optics set up on here, it has a plastic handguard. It's not light because that barrel is so heavy. I'll put a picture in there for you, but 5 rounds just fine. Now let's go ahead and get to the part of the video where people are going to hate, and we're going to toss it in some water, we're going to throw it, and we're going to do some more testing with it. So let's go ahead and make sure this guy is empty, and we're going to go ahead and toss it in some water. Alrighty, so this is pretty muddy, murky water, so we're just going to go ahead and toss it in there. This is all clay in here, so this is very gross, very disgusting. So now I have to get it back. So there is submerged, all muddy now, looks very good. Let's go ahead and do a toss. Alrighty, so we're gonna huck it about 10-15 feet. Looks good. Alrighty, so now we're gonna go ahead. It's definitely feeling a little bit A little bit harsh, but let's go ahead and put 5 more rounds down. Five rounds, perfect. Seems to be running very good. Got some steam coming up from the vents. Obviously a lot of water kind of gets trapped in here. But let's go ahead and we're now going to start our drill section of it. Alrighty, so first things first, we're gonna do a couple bill drills. So we're gonna do 1 and then 6 on about a 15-yard target. So I'm not gonna be shooting that fast just because it's about 15 yards away. See if we can get this, see if I can get my phone working. Oh, sick. Let's go ahead and dig it down there real fast and see how that did. Alrighty, so we have all 5 in the box. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's go ahead and I'm gonna just back up to about 7, 8 yards and we'll do a couple more bill drills, do a reload in here and then see what else we got. Perfect. The recoil on this guy with the rifle length system, this is my only rifle length system. This is pretty ridiculous. The trigger's good. I'm gonna go ahead and do another one. There's some time here for my high ready. A little bit of trigger freeze in there. Keeping them all in though. Both hold back, so it's not doing too bad there. 1 mag down, so 3 more mags, and then we'll go ahead and do another submerge and a toss. But this thing looks pretty sweet right now. Ooh, more trigger freeze. Definitely could do a little better there. Let's try it one more time. Perfect. Once again, all in. Let's go ahead and check those guys out for you. So I did draw this box a little big, but we have about 90% of them right in this range, which is great. It actually came pretty close to zeroed from the factory, so I'm not sure if they factory zeroed it, you know, at their little range when they were function testing it. But let's go ahead and do some more drills. We'll go ahead and move over to a couple targets, do some transitions. All right, so we're gonna do some big transitions. So we're gonna go 3 close, 3 far, and then we have a target set up over there, about 20, 25 yards, and do 3 more. Total of 9 rounds, starting from the low ready position. I definitely pulled 1 over there on the right side of the paper. Fortunately, those are all still in, and those guys are in just fine too. All right, let's try that same thing, but backwards this time. And we will probably have to work in a reload here, this time from the high ready. Again, it was not quite empty, but I went ahead and did a reload on it anyways, because that was my last round in there. Did not hold back on that last one, and I am not sure why. Let's give that another try. Okay, 1 in the chamber. That time I did just fine. Had a bit of an odd mag grab. Not his fault. All right. Let's try it one more time, and then we're gonna go ahead and do like 1 R4s. Oh, malfunction. So felt it there a little bit. So what we have here, so it looks like it just didn't push the round in. It kind of nosedive into the front. It did eject the case. See here. Okay. This was a very minor malfunction that we had. It just was too steep of an angle. I don't think it's mag related. I've never had a mag issue with these guys, but let's go ahead and do a 1 R4. Okay. Appears to be short stroking the system a little bit. So it just did not load that next round in there. The mag is seated properly. It feels like something's holding it back. Let's see if this continues. We might have to lube it up a little more. The water did probably get to it a little bit in the back because it feels like there was just something kind of slowing it down. So let's go ahead, try 1 R4 again. Not sure if something's okay. Not sure what was going on with those two mags, but let's go ahead and get another guy in there. Okay, so we did have a few issues with that one mag. It felt like there was something really slowing down the bolt, which is probably, you know, some debris getting in there. So that was 3 mags now. So even though we kind of just did a mag dump, we're gonna go ahead, do another mag dump, and just see how it does. We got about 25 to 30 rounds in here. We're gonna go ahead and do a mag dump. We're only about 10 yards away. So we're just going to see if it gets through this entire mag. So far we've had 3 malfunctions, pretty minor malfunctions, just having to do with the bolt feeling like it's moving really, really slow. So let's go ahead and do about 20-25 rounds right through this guy. Then we're gonna do another submerge, we're gonna do another toss, and see if these issues persist or if they get worse, which is kind of what I'm expecting to happen. There was no malfunction there. I just didn't pull the trigger for whatever reason. I had trigger freeze and then just decided to stop. So that was about 20 rounds. I have about 4 left. Let's go ahead and do a build drill with what I have left, and then a reload one. All right. So it's functioning very well. Not really warm at all. We're gonna give it a minute. We're not just gonna throw it into the water completely warm. So we'll give it a minute to cool down. Give me a minute to cool down, and then we'll go ahead, do it again, do some more drills. Alrighty, so let's go ahead. Grab this guy, and we are going to toss it right in there. Where'd I put that other one? Let's go grab that. Now, let's go ahead and make sure there's no barrel obstructions, and we can get ahead with the second half of the test. Handguard popped off, but it's a plastic handguard. These things kind of come off fairly easy. As long as there is no barrel obstructions, there is. Try and get something down there to get rid of that without blowing myself up. Alrighty, so we're back after a slight issue. What we had was when I threw it into the water, it went muzzle down, and so we got some clay in the front of it. Just for reference, all this over here, this is all clay. It's all wet and slimy, so it acts like sludge, and when it gets in the gun, when you throw it in its water or in the mud or on the ground itself where it's just wet and slimy, it's going to cause issues. This is like the worst case scenario for something like this, but it did really well in the first half of it. And let's see if it continues to do well. Alrighty, so first up, we're just going to go ahead and do 5 rounds as a function test, and let's see how it goes. And there is some stuff that's going to blow off the front, just stuck in the A2 bird cage. See how this goes. Oh, okay. That is pretty exceptional. So there were 5 more rounds. And now we're going to go ahead and do about 70-80 rounds of drills and such. And then we will swap over to another mag dump. And then we'll kind of do an end evaluation and see how that goes. So I'm actually going to leave the camera off, I think. And I'm going to switch this one here over just to the GoPro. You can kind of see a first-hand view of it all. 5-second countdown. We're going to do 5. Low ready. A little bit of trigger freeze on the first one. Let's go ahead and do that again. That was nice. That was perfect. No trigger freeze, fast on there. Recoil is pretty much nothing, which is what you would expect. Alrighty, let's do some transitions. So we're gonna go 3 and then 3 on the far targets. All right, I can see from here we hit 3 just fine. I haven't shot much of that target at all. There's kind of a cluster. Let's do, how many rounds we got in here? Sweet, we got 3 rounds. So we're gonna do 3R3. Got some ammo right here. Held back just fine. I actually have a crap ton of mud sitting up here in the front side post, so it makes it a little bit more difficult, but all right. Let's actually go to the fine setting. And now we got a full magazine, although let's actually do some reloads. So reloads are gonna kind of see if we're having any issues with the bolt holding back or anything like that. Alrighty. So do one in the chamber. Let's go ahead and walk over here real fast. We're gonna do some 1R1s. The carrying handle on here is actually pretty nice. Kind of swing it around, it's easy to carry. Let's get over here into the mud. All right, 1R1, look at this peep sight. That peep sight's a little too precise for this range. So we're gonna open and, okay, let's go ahead. 1R1 from the plate carrier. I had some freeze on there because for a second I didn't think it held it back, but it did. So I was about to transition to grab the charging handle, but it did hold back, so that was my bad. Let's go ahead, do it again, make sure we got round in there just fine. It's definitely rough, no doubt about it. Let's go ahead and do 1R1, or actually let's do a 1R4 at this range. We're gonna go 2 in the top and then 2 in the bottom on the floor. Oop. Had some freeze on there. I tried to eject the mag at an angle and it didn't quite want to drop because it's not going to do that. All right, so another 1R4, same exact thing. Let's try and do it right this time. Trigger freeze on the second one. Also had a weird stock placement around my plate carrier. No problem. All right. Let's see here. Let's do an interesting one. So we're gonna do 1R5, and we're gonna have to swap. Actually, let's do a belt swap. Then we're gonna have to swap, and then we're gonna do another 5. There'll be a lot of swapping. All right, so we have 1 in the chamber, swap to 5, swap to 5. We're just gonna go all in the top target for this guy. Low ready. Make sure we have a good stock placement. Oh, that was my bad. Oh. The trigger freeze on here is all me. That last mag had way more than I thought it did, so I was trying to anticipate swapping over, but I never had to. So that is just my bad. Alrighty, let's go ahead and do some movement drills. So we're going to do 2 into this guy, run up just over the little creek thing that connects these 2 ponds, and then we're gonna do 2 more in the close guy. So both shots are gonna be from about the same distance. Low ready on the first guy. As you can see, as we've shot more with some more dumps, missed a few on the outside edges. All in all, we're doing okay though. Let's try the opposite of that. So we're gonna move back. All right. Whew. What a fun little guy. Let's go ahead and do the same thing, but a lateral movement. Too far, run over there, do too far. See how that goes? Let's do an awful round robin. So we're gonna start up there, do 2, back to the pack, do 2, over to that side, and do 2. Through this really muddy, crappy stuff. This is pretty close. This is about like 5 maybe. All right, making sure we're good. Got 5. Last round, let's go ahead and do a 1R1 mag dump, or a 1R mag dump. Empty, full magazine, front belt. All right, let's set up a slow-mo shot. All right, put you on. Let's see here. Oh, probably need to see you, huh? All right. A little bit of movement up and down. That's probably why this guy popped off a little earlier. But gosh, this thing is baked in mud. Oh, jeez. Oh, look at it. That's nasty, but it's still running and it's ejecting forward actually, which is signs of it being a little overcast. Alrighty, so at the end here, I think in total we only had 2 or 3 actual malfunctions. There was one where it did not hold back on the last round. Not a big issue. There was one where the angle, the feed angle was a little bit too aggressive. It's possible that the mag was not seated correctly when I did that. So that's a possibility there. Other than that, it did really, really well through just about everything. So this is over 200 rounds later. The barrel is warm to the touch. I have gloves on though, so I probably wouldn't touch it without gloves on. The hand guard is perfectly fine. It does have the inner heat shields, so to protect your hands from it. But all in all, really, really good. Now, on the inside, this thing is, I'm sure, absolutely disgusting. Let's go ahead and push this guy back. I mean, it is probably the ugliest thing I've ever seen. Get that guy out. Let's see here. Push this guy out. It'll come out. Alrighty, so at this point, it's pretty dry. The carbon is pretty much just baked on the front of this guy. Whatever lube was on there, and there was a little bit from the factory, is just completely gone. So it is 100% dry right now. Dry, wet, with clay in the system. And it is still functioning fairly well after a full quote-unquote combat load. No, I'm just a dumbass civilian, so it's not like I'm a operator or anything like that. This is just really fun to do, and of course this was free. I did not pay for it once again, so doing this sort of test does not bug me. And I will probably be making this a series, doing this more often with other guns that people send me. More serious guns, not like 22s and stuff like that, because it doesn't really make sense to do something like this with those guys. All in all, it's funny, there is clay baked onto the bottom side of the bolt carrier group. And it's all inside the mag well at this point. It's, of course, covering the entire exterior. But it is still functioning, and that is the most important part. There were a few minor issues during the first 100 rounds after the first drop, but after it kind of cleared up, they did not come back even after the second dousing and throwing it a couple more times. The handguard did pop off at one point, but it is just held in by like 10-15 pounds of pressure, so it's not much that's actually holding it in place. So throwing it like this, they are gonna pop off from time to time depending on how they land. In terms of the system and how it felt to shoot, the rifle length gas system is incredibly nice. It definitely makes for the smoothest recoil impulse out of any of the AR-15s that I own, even with a very simple carbine buttstock that's on here right now. Now I do actually have an A2 system that's coming for this guy, not for this lower, but for a different lower that this guy will be going on. And so this will kind of be a complete M16 A2 kind of retro look-alike for very, very cheap. I think you can find this. You can find this upper at Bear Creek Arsenal right now on their website. I don't get any money from it, so if you buy it, you buy it. If you like it, whatever. I don't get any money from it whatsoever, but it did really well. So I really like it. I am glad. I was actually looking at buying this upper, and that's the reason I asked for it when they reached out to me, was because I was almost about to buy this upper. So it's very nice that they sent it out to me. Also, this one here comes with the charging handle on top, or not the charging handle, the carry handle, which has your rear sight, which works very, very well. It seems to be very high quality, and it's obviously mounted fairly well as well. But we're gonna go ahead, last part of this video, we're gonna do some accuracy testing with it. So we're gonna go take it out to another location. The barrel should be 100% cool by then. It's even pretty cooled now. But we're gonna go ahead and do some accuracy testing with it and see what it lays down after this abuse. So let's go ahead and get to that part. Alrighty, so here we are. Now we have our 4:16 accuracy scope, or actually testing scope, mounted up. Just a super cheap 4:16. It gets the job done. It's in a good mount. It's not going to shift on me at all. Let's see if we can get this set up here. First, we're just going to zero it, shoot a group at 50 or so yards. Now, I did actually clean and oil the barrel, so everything is actually in good shape up here. Just to, make sure it's as clean as possible, so we get a good representation of the accuracy, even though I did go really hard on the barrel for a while. So we're gonna shoot a group at 50, get it zeroed, and go from there. All right. A lot of that lube burn off in my face though. That's not good. I pulled that one. It's moving pretty fine right now. It's actually locked the bolt open. Alright, let's go ahead and move the target and go from there. Alrighty, so now that the accuracy portion is done, now I know that I definitely did not break in the barrel completely, so it's going to definitely tighten up over its many thousands of rounds of life. And of course, I also was not treating the barrel well at all. It got wet, it got shot, it got really hot. And then we took it out here on a cold bore. It was fairly cold, of course, and took it out to 100 yards. So one thing to note, I'll show you this guy first. The Federal Bulk Pack 223 has been pretty much garbage in everything I put it through. It shoots about 4 inches in my ACR, and it shoots about the same in here, maybe 5 inches in here. So it's really garbage ammo for brass 223 ammunition. It's really bad. But I did manage to lay down 2 respectable 5-round groups. This one here is really good, actually. 2 respectable 5-round groups at 100 yards for a non-free floated AR that the barrel's not broken in, and I treat the barrel very poorly. So this 5-round group here on the bottom, this is the good one. That's I'll put it in here afterwards because I don't have my measuring tape with me right now, but it looks like it's about 1.5 inches, maybe a little bit more for a 5-round group. Non-free floated barrel, 1 in 9 twist, 75 grain Hornady black. Let's go ahead and grab this guy. Overall though, that is great performance, and I am very happy with how this thing performed, and it still feels good right now. I actually will give it a good cleaning, and I'll put the original scope back on here. But that is pretty much it for the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. Let me know what you guys think of this down in the description down below, and there will of course be more videos on this guy in the future. We will do a dedicated accuracy video review, bunch of different stuff with it. So it's so far so good. Really impressed with how it performed in really harsh circumstances and not treating it well at all. But like I said, that's pretty much it for the video. So once again, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace off.
Hey you. Yeah, you. What are you still doing here? The video's over. Wait. Why are you still here? Like, share, and subscribe. Or don't. The choice is yours. But if you do subscribe, thanks. And I like pizza. Peace off.